CCTVs if you can get a hold of anybody in that area. Sometimes you can get footage that way too.
Yeah, you said the power was on because I've heard conflicting reports. People said that the power was off in the mall and that air traffic control, I can't tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah, then they said the airport got shut down and everything.
Is that all real or fake though? I just don't know anymore.
I do have friends that had flights, right? Because I was down in that area with a group of friends. So I have friends that had flights around the same time that this was going on, and they had relayed that their flight was delayed that day. So I don't know if that was anything connected to it, but I know that there were issues at the airport that day when they were experiencing some turmoil trying to get out.
Yeah, one of the other accounts and facts that they're trying to say to cover up whatever happened on your day to change the date is that some gray Kia and black Infinity crashed into some electrical box. But that was farther inland in
Yeah,
Miami Gardens, which is very far away from Bayside Market.
Yeah,
Just
and
to
I think and I
explain the
think
fact that
I think there's just so many different instances of these individual, like so many different coincidental things that took place. Like, oh, like this happened because this crashed, or like this happened because like this happened, where just so many different events that they're just explaining away by throwing some nonsense to it. I want to get Melly in because I feel like they've been waiting patiently and have been raising their hands. So, Melly.
That's right. Yeah, no, look, I personally do believe that there are various types of beings in our universe, and I'm not discounting any accounts because I think that in the future it will be proven that certain things are true. But my one concern is how humanity deals with this situation, and I don't want humanity to overreact, and neither do any other beings. And I think that because there is the risk of certain things being blamed on them that they haven't done, I think that we need to be able to keep, our freedom of thought for every situation. So if we're told that we need to attack them and that certain things are occurring because we need to attack them, I think that we should always be looking for more information because not all of that will be true. If certain things are done in the name of protecting Earth from these beings, I do not believe that all of those situations will be true. Because the thing that you need to remember is that if they have been coming to Earth, they've been coming to Earth since at least the 1960s, but probably since Egyptian times. And they haven't destroyed Earth. So any beings that know about Earth and any beings that do actually visit Earth, generally speaking, are fairly safe. And if they're not, I just don't want humanity to overreact. Like, here's an example. A spider landed on me today, and I got a tissue, got it to walk onto the tissue. I'm perfectly okay, all right? And I think that, in another situation, you could freak out, you could hit it, it could die, or you could get bitten, right? And I think that this is an important time in history to make sure that we don't overreact and make sure that we check any large reports.
I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
I think that anything that we are told that we should take with a grain of salt, because obviously, if these things are extraterrestrials and they did make contact with us, then the government is trying to cover it up. And I think that the most reasonable approach that they're going to take is anything that they deem to be foreign or hostile, they're going to try to take out with weapons. But the ultimate reality is that if these things are interdimensional or intergalactic, or we were visited by some type of external species, then we should do our best to learn from these things and to figure out something that we can extract from them, because
Yeah.
they're obviously something that are far more superior than us, and
Yeah.
there are things that we could maybe extract benefit from. I don't think that
Yeah.
there's
And
anything wrong
and
with that line of thinking.
and and if they're here, then they've been here for a long time without major issues. So I think that's something worth remembering. That generally speaking, they're not hostile. So yeah, I think that any reports we hear, we should triple check because not everyone has the same motives.
I completely agree with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Hey Mo, can I ask you another quick question?
Sure.
Hey, so were you aware of what happened in Vegas and Peru?
I'm familiar with what happened in Vegas. I'm not familiar with what happened in Peru.
So it came out a few months ago that these villagers were claiming that there were 7 to 8 foot tall beings attacking them, trying to abduct some of the villagers, and they were described as like floating on this hoverboard and wearing body armor that reminded them of the Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
The Green Goblin from Spider-Man. That
Yeah,
is
if you get a chance, I'll send you the link. One of my friends, a guy I work with, he's listening, but he's in Costa Rica. I don't think he can. He's got a good connection. His name's Tim Alberino. He went down to Peru and investigated it and spoke with the village. He's the only one that's gone. And if you watch the video, you'll find out what he found.
all right. I will absolutely check it out. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that.
And one last question: would you be willing to take a polygraph?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool, man. All right, get back to me through your messenger.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
All right, later.
On
All
that
right,
note as
later.
well, because this is relevant to something else that happened on the MH370 case, if someone were to come to you and make you say, let's say we were, this is a hypothetical, I just want to point that out. If I were to say, I'll give you $10,000, but you have to sign an affidavit saying that everything you're saying here is true, would you be down with that?
Sign an affidavit for 10,000? No, not
You guys
10,000.
do more than that? Just to sign something that says what you're saying here is true?
Oh, to sign what I'm
Yeah.
saying here is true? No, I would sign
Oh,
it for
okay.
free.
Wow. Okay, good answer. Good answer.
You guys,
He's so good.
I wasn't
Yo,
sure what the
Mo.
question was. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying to like recant what I'm saying. I'd say it'd take a lot more
No,
than
no, I got you. I
10,000, but
understood why. I
to
understood.
just to just make a statement about what I'm saying is true, then yeah, no doubt.
That says a lot about you, Mo. One of the things that is really not coincidental either is that I've been watching Tucker Carlson, who has now become one of the heroes of truth in our lifetime. They asked him if aliens existed, and he responded that he does believe that there's something that exists. He just doesn't believe that it comes from outer space. He says that it's much more interdimensional or spiritual. Would you agree with that statement now?
I think that I do agree with you. I think that these things are connected to us in some way, shape, or form. Because, like I said, they weren't scared, they weren't frightened, they didn't seem to worry about, and like they almost didn't seem to acknowledge the people around them. So, I think that we were connected in some way that they didn't feel out of the ordinary. That they were just concerned at something that they weren't expecting. I think they just stumbled across this.
I really hope that Tucker Carlson gets a whiff of this story, dude, and interviews you so I could see it on the Tucker Carlson network. That would be phenomenal, bro. If
Anyone
Tucker
that's
Carlson, yeah, if Tucker Carlson ever gets in contact with you, bro, just say yes immediately. That dude is the hero of our time, just like Elon Musk and Trump.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, anyone that would like to give me the time of day to sort of listen to what I have to say, I'd be more than happy to share my story.
hey, so they did finally start doing the Epstein files document dump. I can't remember which came first. Was it this story or the Epstein files being dumped?
I was the Epstein files being dumped, and then this gained traction. So I think that in the event that they were not aliens and this was meant to be some type of distraction, I think that that is what it is meant to distract from. I, I don't want to put on a tinfoil hat or anything, but I think the proximity at which it took place is very coincidental. I do believe that there are people out there that don't want the contents of that list to see the light of day, and if it does see the light of day, I think that would be problematic. And truthfully, I think that that first dump that we got was just a little nibble. I think that there's much more, right? Like they very rarely give you everything that they have all at once. I think there's much more out there, and maybe this was a test run for something bigger or an even bigger distraction when even more, important or shocking names come out. But I think at this point anything's possible. It's difficult to discount anything after the last decade of things that we've seen and the number of things that we've known um, our government to lie about and sort of mislead us about. So, like I said, it's something that you see that takes place that sort of makes you question your own reality. question what you saw, question the life that you've lived, and it's something that kind of shakes you to your core.
Absolutely, and not to take it on a different path and start talking about the Epstein files, but those I think so far there's been like 4 dumps of documents from the same case, and I don't think they're done with it yet because there's a lot of pages that they keep dumping all the time. And yeah, you're hearing more and more names and things. But I think what's really interesting is the files and the CDs and tapes that the FBI took from Epstein's I don't know which property, but they took it, and miraculously they lost them all. So there's a lot of names, and I'm sure politicians that could get in a lot of trouble, and it was just conveniently lost.
Do we all not remember that during Eisenhower's presidency that he had the Greada Treaty with where they said that he signed a treaty with extraterrestrials back then around the Roswell incident where they could come in and steal so many thousands of people to perform science experiments on if they gave us their knowledge on
And
how to.
and it was said that he went to the dentist. And it was said that he went to the dentist that day, and there's records of him going to the dentist, so that means it happened. That's another thing that's just part of. I mean, it's never been proven. I'm very skeptical about that story. I've never seen any real evidence of it, but it's a cool story. I agree.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but you have to understand, like, the whole Roswell incident, we've been hearing about aliens for the longest, especially as long as I've been alive. I don't discount this.
We've been hearing about aliens since before Roswell.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. So I don't discount this at all. I just think that we as a country or we as a people, I think it won't make sense to us until we all experience it as a whole.
So real quick,
Hey
Because
Mo,
even the CIA's even came out and has said, that they've had contact with aliens, and we're all like, oh yeah,
No,
bullshit.
they have not. They have not officially come out. The CIA has not officially come out and said we've had contact with aliens. That's never happened.
Well, there was some type of full disclosure given.
There's never been any full
guys,
disclosure
remember the
ever.
topic here. Real quick, I want to say,
Sorry, man. Sorry,
yeah,
just keeping it real.
let's chill though a little bit with it, not try to get start fights about it. Because one thing I want to say that is, if this is real and Mo is not larping on us or whatever, then the focus really should be on how do we prove it at this point, right? Like, and
Right.
I think that's what we should be kind of brainstorming on: is what kind of questions can we ask, or to verify the story, or what kind of information can we get a hold of that can prove it to be real? Because if Mo's telling the truth, then I 100% believe, of course, it's going to be a cover up, right?
Absolutely. The cameras from the
Cameras, yeah.
mall or cameras from around the mall from different like residents
As soon as the FOIAs happen, we'll know more. We probably won't know more until then.
hence the reason, Mo, why I asked you, as long as you don't give out no personal information, that the first thing that people are going to doubt about is your location, to make sure that you were there. So if you did take an Uber ride, that's a definite legitimate thing to be able to do. The other thing that I've read on comments and that it was passing through my mind too is that, dude, 90% of the population have a very big problem with speaking in public. Okay. It's a very big fear for being judged, for saying something awkwardly or whatever it may be. But dude, you came out here by yourself. I saw the comments from the very beginning. People were like, "Oh my God, watch this space just shut down all of a sudden for some reason." Nobody knew what you were going to say. Nobody knew if you were going to have the courage to say something, or perhaps some people were just waiting for you to come out and be like, "Oh, I was just clowning you guys." And some dude even commented, he's like, "Oh, he even has his own intro music." Have you done spaces before? Have you been
I've
accustomed?
never done spaces, so when I saw that intro music comment before, I think it's just by default when you start, and like people asked if like someone asked if someone was a co-host or something like that, and honestly, if I knew how to work this, there wouldn't be so many people that were speakers, because I feel like that's probably a little bit more organized than it's supposed to be. I've never done a space before. Um, Today was the first day that I fired one up, and I don't think I'm working it the way it should be
The music
worked, but
automatically
hopefully
starts. I can
it's
tell you that. Real quick,
Dude, you did fantastic. You started off, you sound very pro when you speak, very eloquent. You're not nervous, and now you have a whole bunch of team and panel with you. just asking you questions. This has been one of the most fantastic spaces that I've had in a while. Because I
Absolutely.
join a lot of spaces, dude. I join a lot of spaces. I'm in X all the time, and I'm an NFT crypto freak, right? So I'm all up on this. That was one of the questions that I had for you.
Yeah, real quick. Do you have Mo? First of all, I'm sorry if this was a retread, but do you live in that area permanently?
I don't live in that area now. I was there just
And
visiting.
what night and day was this? Just to clarify, exactly. Was it the first, the second? What day was this? The
The
third.
third.
Okay, and then do you have, because I've seen stuff that shows dates going back to the first where this was being reported on. I don't know how that could predate your sighting.
I have a quick question on
Yeah.
that, Ashton. Is there any way that you could provide without doxing yourself, like a copy of your plane ticket or anything that proves that you were in Florida
That's
that
my
date?
next story was, and the Uber thing was a great idea too. If you can prove
Right.
receipts, I think that's going to be very important. Of course,
Oh my God, I actually agree with Ashton
yeah,
on
you should take
something.
those receipts and definitely, you want to definitely post those on your Twitter if you have.
Or if you bought anything at
Yep.
the mall, food from the food
I
Yeah,
didn't
court.
dude,
buy anything at the
Your
mall. I was
your
doing
phone's
one of
cheap.
those things. I was doing one
it's
of those
just
things where you're just being a mall rat, and it's a nice area too. It's like open water, or I'm sorry,
I
open
mean,
air.
you
So
had
it's
to
like,
buy something while you were there on a debit card, right?
no, but
yeah,
hold on,
yeah. So
David,
so not at the
David.
mall specifically, but down in that general vicinity, yes. So
It
I
was the
could.
it was the Uber ride, man. He explained this from the very beginning. He said it to everybody. I know some people didn't come here from the beginning, but he did say he couldn't use his phone in there. It was 4 or 5 blocks away that he was finally able to use his phone, and he couldn't get his rented
Yeah,
car
but
out
that
of
was
the parking lot.
after he came out of the mall.
Right.
Yeah, so
But the Uber
I
ride will
think
show the date and
in
time.
in an effort, because I totally get where everyone's going with this, right? I don't want to turn it into something where it's like something that it's not. So like I totally agree with you guys. I think that that would help. I'll talk to a couple of my buddies that will make sure that there's no information on there that will sort of give anything away about my identity, and I'll have no problem posting that onto my Twitter.
Awesome. And if you can get a picture, man, of what you saw, that would be awesome.
So
You
the
could draw
picture
it.
is, yeah, I could. I'll take a picture, or not take a picture. I will attempt
Yeah, take a picture.
as best as I can with my third grade level artistic skills to to put something on canvas for you guys.
Awesome.
But I think this is a good place to end it. I do have to head out, so I really appreciate everybody taking the time to speak with me today. I'll do follow ups. I will make sure to release the things that we spoke about today. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I know that it's something
And
that is.
Hollywood, I apologize. I just get upset when there's a lot of people talking about stuff that's not, factual. Sorry about that.
Hey, well, God
You're
bless,
okay.
man.
You're
Thank you very
passionate. I'm
much.
passionate too.
Yeah,
All right.
everyone's passionate, and I think that that's the beautiful thing about it. I think that at every point in time, someone that saw something that they weren't supposed to see or that they couldn't explain, right? The things that we know today would not have been made possible if not for people that are passionate and committed to finding out what happened and finding out what went on in the face of being called, schizophrenics or delusional or whatever it might be, right? So I think that that's very important. I thank everybody, and I'll follow up and continue to share my story for as long
Yes,
as I can.
get through your million DMs.
Yes, sir.
Later, man.
Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, thank you.